Please be seated. I now call the meeting to order. Right. This is the meeting of the Subcommittee on District Councils Ordinance Amendment of Schedules 1 and 3 Order 2013. Please invite the administration in. We will continue our discussions with the administration on the amendment order. So let's wait till the officials have come in. Good afternoon. We have with us from the administration Mr. Gordon Leung, Deputy Secretary for Constitutional and Mainland Affairs, Ms. Helen Chung, PAS for Constitutional and Mainland Affairs, and Ms. Emma Wong, Senior Government Counsel, Department of Justice. So, Mr. Leung. Can you take us through the paper on your responses to issues raised by members at the meeting on the 10th of December 2013? Yes, thank you. This is paper CB2 591-1314-01. And this paper contains the administration's responses to issues raised by members at the last meeting. Para 2 to 10, or rather, Para 2 to 12, as a response to members' concerns about school place allocation. These paragraphs, in fact, have been provided to us by the Education Bureau. Now, in fact, we do have the POA system and the SSPA system. There is a discretionary places stage and then a central allocation stage. And Para 3 states that some choices are not restricted by the school nets. But then in the central allocation stage, there are some restricted school choices. And let me now, as I do not want to read out all the paragraphs, and I believe members have already read the paper, I would like to now go to Para 8 to 12. I would like to talk about the impact of the amendment order on the schools concerned. In fact, as we pointed out at the last meeting, one primary school would be affected, and that is the North Point Government Primary School, Cloudview Road. And if the amendment is passed, and in fact the POA committee has held a meeting and has come to the view that the arrangements or that there should disruption to students already in this primary school should be avoided. So when they participate in SSPA, they should be allowed to choose between schools in the Eastern District and schools in Wan Chai. So the amendment order, even if passed, will not affect the choice of the students. The students will be able to choose between schools in the Eastern District and schools in Wan Chai. And then 2 secondary schools will be affected by the amendment order. The SSPA committee is of the view that there is still time to further consider the necessary arrangements. Now, there are 18 school nets in the Old Territory, and a secondary school net to which a student belongs is determined by the physical location of the primary school the student attends. So when the order takes effect, the 2 secondary schools will be transferred to the Wan Chai district following the transfer of the population, including students, in the 2 district council constituency areas from Eastern District to Wan Chai district, and the secondary 1 places reserved for Part B of the central allocation stage by these 2 schools should likewise go to Wan Chai. But then the 2 schools have been asked as to whether they would need some time to make adaptations to the change. And we are given to understand, as stated in para 12, that the 2 secondary schools concerned will virtually remain a choice for primary students studying in schools in the Eastern District during the central allocation stage till the 2014 Primary 1 cohort progresses to Primary 6 in the 2019-20 school year for Secondary 1 admission in the 2020-2021 school year. So, with regard to the number of Secondary 1 places to be netted or provided to the Eastern District and other districts for central allocation, this will be worked out subject to consultation with the schools. And last time, some members asked whether certain public services would be affected. And para 13 was prepared after consultation with the relevant bureaus. And our understanding is that there won't be any changes. And then para 14 says that C16 and C18 both fall into the catchment area of the Hong Kong East cluster. And so the 2 DCCAs will remain in the same cluster after the implementation of the proposal. And then as for fire or ambulance services, C16 DCCA falls into the catchment area of Tung Lo Wan Fire Station, Bremer Hill Fire Station and Bremer Hill Ambulance Depot, while C18 DCCA falls into the catchment area of Tung Lo Wan Fire Station, Kwong Wan Fire Station and the ambulance outstation in Tung Lo Wan Fire Station. The same facilities will continue to provide emergency services to the 2 DCCAs. As for the other facilities, now in our discussions with the 2 district councils, they are concerned about the provision of soccer pitches and swimming pools. And para 18 states that there are a number of 7-a-side soccer pitches in Victoria Park, and so there will be a greater shortfall for the Eastern District, but a significant surplus in the Wan Chai District with the transfer of these 7-a-side soccer pitches in the Victoria Park from Eastern District to Wan Chai District. And there is no shortfall in swimming pools in the Eastern District before or after the transfer. But then we understand that LCSD facilities can be used by all members of the public. And also, the soccer pitches will still be in Victoria Park. And so, there shouldn't be too much inconvenience or adverse impact caused to the residents who want to use these soccer pitches. We've communicated with the CNS department, and the feedback is that they will try to collect data down to the DCCA level. Thank you. All right, thank you very much. Members, any questions? Yes, Dr. Chen. Yes, Chairman. Last time, some deputations came to tell us their concerns. There were principals, alumni associations, and parents telling us that the traditions and the work of certain schools might be affected by the proposal. Now, it's true that the Deputy Secretary has tried to allay our concerns through information provided by the Education Bureau. Still, we can see that there will need to be further discussions. For example, there will be further discussion in March. And today is the 6th of January, so the meeting hasn't been held yet. In fact, I've asked the Tonghua Hospital, Tonghua Group of Hospitals, Lee Ching-te Memorial College, and they said that they really had not been informed. So it seems that you want to get our consent, and then you will try to impose the conclusion on the school. So I don't think we should be satisfied with this reply. Last time, many parents, principals, and alumni association representatives came to our meeting, and I think we should make a decision only after the meeting in March. In fact, I said last time that yes, the district councils have been consulted. To these and the two DCCAs would be transferred from one district to another. All right, but then last time we were told that 2 secondary schools and 1 primary school would be affected. And the schools and the parents concerned have not indicated that they are satisfied with the arrangements, and so I don't think we should accept the administration's reply today and approve the amendment order. So that's my observation in relation to the reply given to us today. And then may I ask a question about POA? Para 8 seems to suggest that if the 2 DCCA proposal is adopted, then the North One Government Primary School will be transferred to Wan Chai. And then from and for SSPA, it seems that the students and the parents concerned will be able to choose between secondary schools in the Eastern District and secondary schools in Wan Chai. So in other words, they are going to have more choices. And I think this is a commendable arrangement. And with regard to the provision of district facilities, statistical data, I am satisfied with the replies on those matters. Thank you.
Mr. Lam. Thank you, Dr. Chen, for your questions and comments. In fact, this morning, I inquired with the the Education Bureau in particular, in relation to the responses of the schools. And according to the Bureau, they've already liaised with the 2 secondary schools. And of course, as said, details have to be further discussed in the PASS committee, the SSPA committee. And according to the Education Bureau, the North Point Government Primary School and Concordian Lutheran School are happy with the arrangements. And as for TWGH Li Jing Day Memorial College, they will brief the Bureau on the progress of discussion later. We asked whether schools have any strong dissatisfaction. It appears that that's not the case. And I also like to draw members' attention to the following. In the paper, we said that the demarcation of boundaries of these elections will be done in 2015, and this is already 2014, and the work has to be started, and the EAC has already started its preparation. If the amendments can be passed earlier, that will be helpful to the work of the EAC, because in the later of this year, the EAC will have to make suggestions to the administration on demarcation of boundaries. Thank you. Deputy Secretary, my apologies. If I had not communicated with the school principal, I would, of course, have accepted your explanation. But the fact is I did, and the principal said that he or the school was still rather unclear about the situation. So you've notified the school, but I think myself and members of the committee have expressed the same views to you, and that is to take care of the feelings of the school. While we do not want to disrupt the work for demarcation of the boundaries, well, the schools have to be consulted. Well, the ball is on in your court. It's not that we want to stall you or delay you. If you can come back with proposals that are acceptable to us and to alumni and to the schools, that's okay. The fact is, the Education Bureau is still discussing with these schools, and so far we have not seen any replies in black and white from these schools, and we cannot just accept your explanation. And you said that the schools had no strong views. Well, I'm afraid at the first meeting, you also said that there were no strong views, and there were just some comments from a small number of members of the public. But then in the last public hearing, there were very strong views. I think there is sometimes a difference in understanding. So I won't say whether you're right or wrong. I just want to say that we have to wait for a clearer message from schools before we can proceed. Unless you can tell me today that, well, school nets will be independent of district administration boundaries. Now, if these schools can continue to be in the Eastern District, that's different. So we have to understand the details before we can proceed further. Thank you. So I think Professor Chen, Dr. Chen has already expressed his views. Do we have to wait until the meeting in March before we can make a decision on the order? I believe this is a consideration for the administration. Well, at the last meeting, schools were very concerned about the school net they belong to, because these schools are now in the Eastern District, and they feel that a change in the school net would create difficulties for them, and you have to help them. Period 12 is about the arrangement for student admissions, and the whole process will not be completed until 2019-20. So these schools will belong to both nets, both school nets in the interim. Is that right? So originally they were in the Eastern District, but come 2015 they will belong to the Wan Chai District in 2016 if the order is enacted. In the interim, does that mean that these schools will be in 2 school nets? What about school activities? Should they join school activities in the Wan Chai net or Eastern District net? Well, as pointed out in paragraph 6 of the paper, the impact on school admission will start on the 1st of September 2016, that is the 2016-17 school year. And for the secondary schools, the school nets will be changed come 2016, the 1st of September. In the light of worries expressed by schools, in paragraph 12, we say that although starting from 2016, these schools will belong to the Wan Chai net, they can still continue admission of students from the Eastern District until the 2020-21 school year. So there will be 1 year for schools to adapt. Of course, if in 2016 the school is already in the Wan Chai District, then we believe that starting from 2016, the school will admit will recruit students from the Wan Chai District. And if the order is passed in February or January, I don't think schools will wait until 2016. Starting from 2014, the schools will start to start their recruitment exercises in the Wan Chai District more and more often. I think they will start their publicity there. So from now to 2016 and also beyond 2016, we have almost 6-7 years in between. These schools should have sufficient time for this gradual transition. And not all places in secondary schools are subject to the school net allocation. Under the discretionary places stage, students can apply for these schools as well. We believe that for Lee Ching Tien College, many students from feeder school, or actually this school is the feeder school of primary schools in the same school sponsoring body, is already accepting many students from these primary schools. So the Education Bureau will help them to make arrangements to the adjustment. Well, my question is very simple. Does it mean that starting from the 1st of September 2016 to 2020, of course, these schools are already in the Wan Chai District, and they will gradually build up their connections. However, these schools are also involved in the Eastern District. During the transitional period, can these schools, what is the status of these schools? Last time, schools stressed that they would like to have this transitional or this period for adaptation. So does that mean that the schools can remain in both school nets? Your understanding is correct. Starting from the 1st of September 2016, these schools will belong to the Wan Chai district, but they can continue to take in students from the Eastern District. So these students can continue to apply for schools, secondary schools in the Eastern District, right? Yes. All right. Any other points, Mr. Porter? A very short question. Paragraph 11 refers to a transitional arrangement to allow these schools to set aside some places for the Eastern District. Will schools be given a full autonomy, or will there be any restriction on the percentage of places earmarked for that? The details will be decided by the SSPA committee. I don't have such information with me, but according to my understanding from the Education Bureau, the committee will take into account supply and demand in different school nets and make corresponding adjustment every year. Because the adjustment vary from year to year depending on the student population for that year. So it will be about a year before the actual placement, before the percentage can be confirmed. Yes, I understand that the committee will can only make its final decision on the basis of the student population and experts, but can some flexibility be given to these schools to make the transition smoother? Yes, this will certainly be done. As set out in the paper, we will adopt flexibility as far as possible. Ms. Sit Ho, Paragraph 19, statistic data of district councils. I think the paragraph here is not clear enough. Can the Deputy Secretary elaborate on the following? We are talking about statistical data. For instance, people say that Wan Chai is the richest or the most affluent district in Hong Kong, and of course both districts are in the middle upper class. What about the demand for supply and demand for school places, population aging in the communities, and so forth? Now, if you do not provide a breakdown of these two areas, then there cannot be any appropriate comparison of the situation in 2015 and 1995, for instance. So can you continue to provide breakdown on for Victoria Park, for instance, so that for comparative studies, they will not be affected by the new arrangement 20, 50 years down the road? Mr. Leung, according to our information from the Census and Statistics Department, it depends on whether, well, it depends on the sample size and also the design of the survey. If the design is a DCCA based, then such statistics will continue to be collected in this way.
And if we are to draw from such data from the two DCCA data on the 2 DCCAs, that would not be easy. But then if the data are collected on a DCCA basis, then it would be easier. And so the CNST is of the view that if there are such requests, then the CNST will try as far as possible to provide such data. It seems that the reply given is vague. Now, if it will be difficult for academics to make comparisons, say for a 10-year period. Now, for example, if we compare one child in 1995 and one child in 2015, there will be a difference in population of over 30,000. Now, I oppose this amendment order, Chairman, but I believe the order will be passed. And so I hope that the CNS department can give members of the public a breakdown with regard to the data for these 2 DCCAs. Now for NT-West, Tsuen Wan, we're not talking about the transfer of one housing estate to another district. 1 or 2 estates will mean only 2 or 3 blocks. But then here we're talking about 2 DCCAs being transferred to another district, and the population difference we're talking about is tens of thousands. So I think it's important that such data are available for academic study purposes. I think the request is clear. So the member hopes that there will be data available concerning the 2 DCCAs to facilitate studies, academic studies by those who are interested in the subject. So will such figures or statistics be made available? Yes, Chairman. The CNS department use different sampling methods and take different sample sizes for surveys of different purposes. And so in future, the new boundaries will be adopted in the design of the new sample sizes. Now, say if the CNS department is to collect data on the 431 DCCAs, and of course it will not be difficult to provide data on 2 particular DCCAs. But then if the sample size is taken on the basis of the 18 administrative districts, it will be difficult to provide statistics on 2 particular DCCAs. Now, Chairman, I think the administration has brushed aside difficulties arising from the proposal. Now, I understand that this order will be passed, but why is it that the administration is unwilling to adopt some or work out some remedies? And I think changes are inevitable. But then we hope that while changes have to be made, disruptions should be kept to a minimum. So we hope that there can be data on the DCCAs available to facilitate the carrying out of academic studies. I understand that this proposal arises out of some operational problems faced by district councils, but I think we should try to find some ways to resolve problems arising from the proposal. Mr. Sin Chung Kai, sorry I was late for the meeting. I want to ask a question about the transitional arrangements. What's going to happen after 2020-2021? So that's your question. Deputy Secretary, please. Chairman, my understanding is that after the 2020-2021 school year, for the affected secondary schools, they will be like other secondary schools in Wan Chai. So there will be a 4-year transitional period from 2017-2018. Deputy Secretary, 4 school years? It should be 4 school years. From 2016-2017 to 2020-2021. 5 school years. So after the 5 school years, they will become secondary schools in Wan Chai, right? Because from September 2016, they will have become secondary schools in Wan Chai. Now, in fact, as explained in the paper, in fact, under the SSPA system, there is a transfer mechanism or netting mechanism. The SSPA committee looks at the demand and supply of school places in different districts. So I, in fact, was generalizing when I said that the schools will become secondary schools in Wan Chai. In fact, they will be pegged to primary schools in Wan Chai. But in fact, every year, the SSPA committee looks at the demand and supply of secondary places in each district and make the necessary adjustments. Is it that the schools can decide how many % of the students would come from the Eastern District? I understand that consideration will be given to the total number of S1 places. And also, secondary schools are now receiving students from feeder schools. Now, say, for example, for Lee Ching De Memorial College, some of the S1 places are filled by primary school students studying in Wan Chai. I don't have the exact figures here with me, but my understanding is that quite a large number of the students, S1 students of Lee Ching De Memorial College come from primary schools in Wan Chai. Right, do members have any further questions? Yes, Dr. Chan. Concerning statistical data, no, Chairman, I carry out research in a university, and I understand that in fact a lot of our statistical data come from the census. Now, there was a census in 2011. And with regard to population, household size, household income, we do have territory-wide data. We have data broken down by the 18 districts. We also have data broken down by DCCAs. So the public can easily make use of such information. Now, but then some members are concerned about this. Now, I may have a study project, and I do not want to have to study the situation in one child, having to take out the figures in relation to the two DCCAs, and then make a comparison between one child today and one child, say, 10 years ago. And then, and also the academics will not have to add the data concerning the two DCCAs to the Eastern District data. Now, of course, you may say you have to do your own calculations. We can't help. We can't help you in any way. But of course, we hope that the CNS department will try to be user-friendly and provide such statistical data for us. So, Deputy Secretary, I hope that you understand that in fact, the data are available, but then of course we have to do our own calculations, additions and subtractions. So perhaps you can put this question further to the CNS department. I understand that some of my colleagues do ask the CNS department to provide certain data because the parameters adopted in an academic study may be different from the parameters adopted by the CNS department, and there are good reasons for having different parameters for such academic studies. But then if the CNS department can collect and analyze data in a different way, that will be very helpful to those carrying out academic studies. And so we hope that the CNS department can try to assist here. Yes, thank you. I will talk to the CNSD further, Chairman. But I understand that the department has all along been very supportive of academic studies and tries to provide the data that are required. Then as to what can be done and what can't be done, I will try to find out more from the CNS department. Yes, Deputy Secretary, I hope that you can try to seek further information from the CNS department. Because if this amendment order is passed, then it would be desirable if the CNS department can provide relevant data on the two DCCAs for academic researchers. So I think the CNS department should try to provide assistance in the light of the change that's going to take place. Right, if members have no further questions, then I think we can move on to clause by clause scrutiny. So please refer to paper CB2 3061314 bracket 01, and that's the marked up copy. And so let's look at page 1. Who would like to take us through this paper?
I think I will walk members through the paper. If necessary, the colleague from DOJ can supplement. All right, page 1. Page 1 is the commencement date, and that is the 1st of January 2016. And for the purpose of the DC elections, that will be on the day on which the resolution of the legislature approving this order is published in the Gazette. Well, perhaps CB2 306 should be the actual paper. All right, the first is the commencement date, and then page 1 of the marked up copy, where you can see the amendment that has clause 3, part 2 of schedule 1, column 2. DC2/2000/C is replaced with DC/2013/C. Right, we now go back to the marked up copy. Part 2, Declaration of Districts. Item 2, Eastern District. There is an amendment to the Eastern District, a change in the numbering. Yes, any problem with this? Members have no questions. And then we turn to page 2. Item 7, Wan Chai District. DC/2000/B is replaced with DC/2013/B. And the numbers on the map for Wan Chai will be amended. Any question? No. Page 3, there is no change on page 3. Page 4, yes. Schedule 3, Part 1. Item 2, Eastern District Council. The number of elected members is to be amended from 37 to 35. What about sections 5, 8, and 9? Legal advisor. Thank you. Because Schedule 3 has gone through several amendments recently. To enable members to understand the overall effect of these amendments, we have indicated the recent amendments as well. So the number of appointed members, we've also shown the amendments, and also a few figures are underscored here that relates to the recent amendment to Schedule 3 of the District Councils Ordinance. In fact, for this order, the amendments are mainly to Item 2 and Item 7. Yes, the number of appointed members have been amended, and that was actually done in a previous order. Our legal advisor is just wants to show members the general amendments or order amendments to this ordinance. So previous amendments have been passed. There are no appointed members now. So the column on number of appointed seats have been deleted here. So the changes here are only relate to the Eastern District Council and Wan Chai District Council, number of elected members. Any question? No. Page 5, I think we'll talk about the same thing. Yes, page 5. We don't have any amendment arising from this order on page 5. There are some arrows or signs here. We have another order. To add 19 seats to district councils altogether. And so these amendments are also listed out for members' information. Now, cross-by-cross scrutiny of the Chinese text is done. Regarding the English text, you Can members agree that we allow our secretariat to go through the English text for us? And should there be any problems, please report to us. Yes, the Legal Services Division has scrutinized the English text, and it is in order. Okay. If members have no further questions, that's the end of our clause-by-clause scrutiny. So, administration, when do you intend to move the resolution in the Council? We intend to do so on the 22nd of January. Now, if you want to do that on the 22nd of January, then the following steps will follow. I will have to report to the House Committee this Friday. And then on the 15th of January, that is the deadline for amendments. And the administration should give notice of its resolution by the 7th of January. Okay, that's the legislative timetable. Dr. Kenneth Chen, I'd like to reiterate what I said in the first part of the meeting. The ball is now in the government's court. The schools concerned are very worried, and perhaps the CMAB would like to take forward the legislation, and if through the Secretariat you can tell us that the matter is successfully resolved before the date of the resolution, that would be easier for us to support you. So let me tell you beforehand our position. Our administration, can you allay the concerns of Dr. Kenneth Chen earlier, or please provide the information he wants earlier? Ms. Sit-Ho. Usually, the Secretary will pass around a checklist to ask whether we're going to speak on the date of the resolution. I am sure many of us will speak on this. Okay, for sure. If there are no further questions, we end the scrutiny of the bill. And AOB, no AOB, then meeting adjourned. And I think we can call our work, consider our work completed for the time being. I'll report to the House Committee. Thank you.